Hi, I want to welcome you all to this recording that's part of a larger series offering mental health and suicide prevention information, support, and resources in response to the global pandemic. My name is Kelsey Schmitz, and I work for the University of Washington at the School Mental Health Assessment Research and Training Center, or SMART Center, as the School Mental Health Lead to the Northwest Mental Health Technology Transfer Center. Our center is located in Seattle, Washington. In response to the critical need for information during and after the global pandemic, a group of organizations based in the Northwest region have quickly formed an alliance to join together to co-develop, co-deliver, co-sponsor, and co-brand content, resources, and other information. In an effort to bring together in one spot a wealth of relevant information and access to school mental health experts, the Northwest MHTTC and the UW SMART Center are partnering with Forefront Suicide Prevention Center, Drs. Jim and Liz Mazza, the Association of Washington School Principals, Northwest Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports Network, Sound Supports, and Well Educator to bring you the Wellbeing Series. If you'd like to learn more about the Wellbeing Series, please visit our Wellbeing Series webpage and learn about the other events that are planned. All the events are free and anyone's welcome to join. If you have any questions, you can reach out to my colleague, Megan Lucy. As I mentioned, we're part of the National Mental Health Technology Transfer Center Network. This network is funded by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration and includes 10 regional centers, a National American Indian and Alaska Native Center, a National Hispanic and Latino Center, and a network coordinating office. If you're interested in reaching out to the Northwest region, where we support the workforce development of school mental health professionals in Alaska, Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, you can find information for how to email us, how to visit our website, sign up for our newsletter, and connect with us on social media. Now we hope that you will join us to go into the living room of Drs. Jim and Liz Mazza with their family as they teach their kids the basics of emotional regulation and specific skills such as mindfulness, distress tolerance, and interpersonal effectiveness, essential skills at any time, but even more critical during COVID-19. We hope you'll tune into this lesson and the other lessons that are scheduled to help your kids and your family reduce conflict and keep this pandemic in perspective. If you're interested, here's the weekly schedule. All lessons will be recorded and posted to YouTube. You can also watch these on YouTube Live by subscribing to the DBT in Schools YouTube page. We also invite you to join us on May 19th and June 16th for a session live with Drs. Jim and Liz Mazza. These sessions require registration, and you can get those registration links as well as information about the rest of this series by visiting the website at the bottom of this slide. We hope you enjoy this lesson.
Hello and good morning, and welcome to the DBT Steps A Student Skills for Surviving and Thriving Through COVID-19. Looks like my microphone is really loud. I'll turn that down a moment for you. Hopefully that's a little better. Okay, my friends, I'm so glad you're here, especially if you're joining us for the first time. My name is Dr. Liz Dexter Mazza. These are my children. Jim, you want to introduce yourself really?
I am Jim Mazza.
Right, and we are psychologists, and we are the developers of the DBT, if I can pick it up, Skills in Schools Social Emotional Learning Curriculum that we developed for students to learn critical life skills for social emotional learning as part of educating the whole child. And during this time of COVID-19, when most people are doing school from home, we decided that we were going to teach these lessons to our own kids. And if we were going to teach them to our own kids, why wouldn't we share them with everybody else so that you have an opportunity to learn these social emotional skills? So we're so glad you're here with us today. We've been doing this for about 6 weeks now, so you're welcome to go back and watch any of our previous videos. And to join us now, a couple of announcements I'd like to just quickly make if this is your first time here is that first, next Tuesday, we won't be live for our student skills class because Jim and I will be doing a live question and answer in collaboration with Forefront in Suicide Prevention out of the University of Washington and the Northwest Mental Health Technology Transfer Center, where parents and educators can come and ask us questions about anything related to your homeschooling, how you're coping and surviving and thriving during COVID-19. And then as we start to think about things are going to look like through the summer and into the fall. So please come and join us. Bring your questions. You can put your questions in ahead of time if you'd like, and just go to www.dbtinschools.com so you can register for this Q&A. We'll be doing it twice, once on Tuesday, May 19th, which is next Tuesday, and then again on Tuesday, June 16th. So we hope to see you there and register for that. And then one more quick announcement is that every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, you can find Jim and I on Facebook Live at DBT in Schools as well, where we host a live stream show called Parenting Through COVID-19. So please join us for each of those shows. So let me introduce who is in our classroom with us today. How about you start over here today?
My name's Ashton. I'm 12 and I'm in 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
My name's Grace. I'm 8 and I'm in 2nd grade.
My name is Jackson. I am 13 and I'm in 7th grade.
Awesome. Great. And then you met Jim earlier. He's going to come and teach our lesson today. And in all of our mindfulness lessons and all of our Steps A lessons, we always start with a mindfulness exercise. So we can practice the mindfulness skills repeatedly and figure out how they are relevant to our lives. So today, we are going to do another participate exercise where we're going to practice participating non-judgmentally. So who can remember what participate means?
Go all in.
To go all in.
One mindfully?
Be one mindfully all in this moment, right? And non-judgmental, what does that mean we have to look and think about doing?
Like, it doesn't matter like what other people say or like what they
No
think about
shorthand judgment.
No
like,
shorthand
you.
judgments.
This is stupid. This is
Okay,
what I might
to
do.
kind of, because that might get you kind of stuck in your head of participating. Okay,
Class.
so here's what we're going to do for today's exercise. We are going to participate fully by singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat in rounds. Now, I gotta tell you, I get pretty anxious sometimes singing publicly because I have been judged in the past and been told that I have a really poor voice. Bad is what some people would say. And I've had to practice a lot of non-judgmental participation to sing out loud publicly. So I'm going to be mindful of notice if any of those judgments show up and then practice just letting them go during that. So if that happens for you, I just want you to simply notice that and let those go also. Okay? So here's what we're going to do, and I want you to try to do this at home with whoever you might be there with, is to practice. We're going to sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat in rounds. Do you guys all know the words to Row, Row, Row Your Boat? Okay. Okay. Yep, you know it. Got it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to break up into 3 groups. Okay? So Grace, how about you're with me?
I'm with Dad.
Okay?
All right.
Or I was going to have you guys be together and then Dad be on his own.
No, I'm with Dad.
Dad's a pretty powerful voice.
Yeah, so let's
maybe,
keep you two
maybe
together.
should be together. I think
All
that's
right.
probably a good idea.
And then you guys, I want you to kind of break up at home. You got to stand. You're going to stand up because when we participate and sing, we're not just going to participate with our voices. We're going to participate with our bodies too. So you might have some hand movements that occur during it while we're doing it. And so Grace and I'll start, and then Dad will go, and then you guys will go, and we'll sing it 3 times.
3
Okay.
times, all right?
All right. So I want you guys at home to just kind of get yourself mindfully set. Get ready to start. Here, I'll move this way a little.
So
Grace,
step
there,
1
there.
will be our mindfulness position.
Yep. Get ourselves mindfulness ready. Take a deep breath,
That's step 2.
and we'll begin. You ready, Grace? Row, row, row your boat gently
Row,
down
row,
the
row
stream.
your boat
Merrily,
gently down
merrily,
the
merrily,
stream.
merrily, life is but a
merrily,
stream.
merrily, life
Row,
is but
row,
a
row
dream.
your boat gently
Row,
down
row,
the
row
stream.
your boat
Merrily,
gently down the
merrily,
stream.
merrily, merrily, life is but a dream.
Life is but
Row,
a
row,
dream.
row your boat
Row,
gently
row,
down the
row
stream.
your boat gently down
Merrily,
the
merrily,
stream.
merrily, merrily, life is but a dream.
Life is but a dream.
where we are.
We lost.
Ah,
so it got hard being in the
yeah, you
moment.
have to stay in there, participating.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the street, merrily.
Oh, so you
Okay.
weren't clear.
That was the direction. That's okay.
Okay.
So So
All right,
Mom,
go and sit down.
Mom's gonna.
Okay, so I
discuss it.
appreciate that feedback that you got confused, that you weren't clear exactly on what the round was.
And how
when
did it
we
go
were-
for you guys at home? So tell us to put in the chat bar.
what it was like.
They could hear us, and it was really loud.
Yep, they could hear us. Our microphones are a little loud today. We'll work on that too. So, what'd you notice in regards to trying to participate, one mindfully and non-judgmentally during that activity?
It got hard.
It got hard.
Big jumble of words.
Okay, so kind of keeping your
I
focus.
was trying to keep us on track.
I was trying to get in sync with Jackson, but he just kept going, merrily, 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 merrily. He just kept saying merrily.
Okay, so it was hard to kind of stay in the moment, focused on your thing. Now, here's my question for you. Anybody have judgments in their mind about it?
I lost track, so now I look like.
Oh, so you were having a judgment like, oh, I lost track, now I must look bad? Something like that? Okay, and is that when you started making you want to sit down and stop?
Well, it was confusing.
And it was confusing, and that kind of like started to shut you down a little? Okay, so that sometimes those judgments can have that impact. Anybody else have judgments? Mm-hmm. I noticed I had an observation, I don't know if it's judgment, that we were really loud,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then thought, oh, that's bad for everybody else listening. So I got distracted with that for a moment. So why, my big question that I always ask you guys, like this was fun, sort of-ish, as I know you might say, but why would we do an activity like this, and why would it be relevant to us practicing mindfulness in every day in our life? What's the
Because
purpose?
we're throwing ourselves all in doing it.
Throwing ourselves all in, so practicing participating,
Wordless watching.
so observing.
Observing.
Yep, okay. Any thoughts set for you, Jackson, why this is practice?
Ashton stole them.
So what do you mean? Say.
I was gonna say what Ashton said.
Okay, so put it in your own words.
I really can't.
Okay. So one of the things I think, and if anybody have any ideas at home, that this is a lot about also one mindfulness, right? You saw how easy it was to get distracted by everything else that was going on around you and get you off track, right? And so mindfulness is about keeping your attention where you want it to be, right? That's one of the types of mindfulness, is being able to focus and put your mind in one spot in the face of the distractions of the world, right? And that was hard today. And sometimes that's hard for each of us in different parts throughout the day when we're doing schoolwork and there's noise in the school building, and in our current scenario when there's noise throughout the house, right, while we're trying to do schoolwork. Yeah. So it's about being able to practice an exercise like this so that we can practice holding our attention in the face of all the distractions that can occur around us. Okay. Did we have any questions or comments from folks watching?
None at this point.
Okay. Great. So I hope you practice this at home and that you can see it as a practice of mindfulness in addition to doing an activity like singing. All right. At this point, I'm going to switch over and let Dad start teaching you guys about even some more mindfulness and doing some exercises so we can review how all these mindfulness skills are so important to us. All righty.
All right. Switch we are. All right. So we're coming back to mindfulness, and mindfulness is really an important part. And I'll have Liz get us to the next slide so I can give us kind of our overview of where we normally are. So on this slide that you're going to see right here, you can see that we're now actually on the other side of the continuum compared to what we talked about emotion regulation, right? We are now over here on that acceptance side of the continuum, right? So this is where mindfulness is, and you can see there's three stars that are right there, or asterisks, and then distress tolerance skills. So this is key, and I put 3 asterisks there because mindfulness, and actually what we call core mindfulness, is the foundation, the bedrock of where we build all of our other skills. And without a good bedrock, without a good foundation, what happens to a house on a poor foundation? It'll collapse and fall, or it'll get knocked over, right? And so we don't want that to happen when any struggles come up, right? And so what we want to do is build that foundation. So today we're going to review some of those mindfulness skills. All right? Can I go to the next slide?
Yes, you can.
How about this? So you can see that
There's a big circle
it's a big circle because mindfulness is actually the heart of everything. We have to be aware of what our bodies are telling us and what our minds are telling us, right? One of the things that I talked to you about before is in our mindfulness skills, we want to put our mind where we want it to be, not our mind putting us in
Where we
Danger.
don't want to be.
Where we don't want to be. Grace going 1 for 1 already. All right, great. And you're right. We don't want to be in danger. All right. So I'll give you half point. All right. And so you can see that the whole amount of emotion is circled with mindfulness because we need to be aware of what our bodies are telling us at this point. And so that becomes really important. All right. And so here's what I want us to be able to do is I want us to be able to think about and review what our mindfulness skills were. So one of the mindfulness skills that we talked about before was 3 states of mind. You remember that? We have 3 states. Wait, whoa. Hold on. So let me get to the 3 states so our reviewers can catch up. 3 states of mind. Okay. So what would be the 3 states of mind? Do you remember?
Emotion
Mind,
mind.
reasonable mind, and wise mind.
Okay.
I'll try and do that.
So let's put one over here. Let's make this reasonable mind.
No, that one's emotion mind.
It's okay. Reasonable mind. Right? And then what was the other one?
Emotion mind.
Emotion mind
Wise mind.
and wise mind, right?
Yeah.
Remember,
Wise mind's in the middle.
wise mind's in the middle. So our circles overlap, right? This is emotion mind.
It's a Venn diagram.
Wow, look at you guys. All right, I'm giving you that. 2 for 2. All right. You let me know when you want to get on the board.
Oh.
And so, Liz, let's see if we can help put this on the board. Can you do that? Yeah, great. On the board. Yep, great. So this is emotion mind. And what we really want to get into though is the combination. So
Wise mind.
we do want wise mind. So Grace, I'm gonna wise mind. I'm gonna put WM in there for wise mind, and that's actually where we want to be, right? So when are we in emotion mind? What happens when we're in emotion mind?
Our emotions get high.
High?
And no, there's a blindfold over your prefrontal cortex.
Prefrontal cortex.
Look at you. All right.
Your amygdala puts the
Thank you.
blindfold over
So,
your prefrontal
And
cortex.
emotion mind tends to be hot and fast, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. So
It doesn't know how to drive a bus.
we're going hot, right? And it drives the bus, right? It overtakes the bus. What about reasonable mind? What's that one like?
Logic, no, it doesn't make sense with logic.
Logic. Okay,
No
good. So
emotion.
no emotion. All right. So are there things and times that we want to be in? So we call that would be more cold, right? And logical. So can you think of any types of jobs or types of situations where you want someone to be very logical?
Teaching.
Construction worker.
Construction worker, probably, especially if they're up on a crane. Yeah, that could be good.
Teaching.
Airplane.
Teaching,
Airplane.
so you don't want your teachers in. Well, I want my teacher probably to be in emotion mind, right? To be able to have, not emotion mind, but in wise mind, to be able to have some emotion with them and some logic, right?
Airplane traffic control.
Yes, airplane traffic controllers, a pilot, your dentist when they have the drill in their mouth. You'd like them to be very
Precise.
methodical and precise, correct. And emotion mind, wise mind sits in the middle, right? And that's where we want to have some emotion with us and some reasonable mind with us.
It's
So-
warm.
And so we're working on that core, right? How do we find out that we're in wise mind? Do you remember any of our strategies to find out if we're in wise mind?
What
Distraction.
skills?
The facts.
So hold on. So how do we know if we want to send off a text, a picture to somebody, and we're not sure if it's a wise-minded decision? Do
Stop.
you remember? Stop. So go ahead and ask.
Think.
Observe. Proceed.
Okay, so that's the stop. So that's great. I like that. Okay, and then should we send it right away or do we wait?
I think we should wait to ask a parent.
Could do that. That's great. And if we decide that we still want to send it after a day or two, was it wise mind or was you think it was emotion mind?
Wise mind.
Yeah.
Wise mind.
If we decide not to send it after 24 hours, what do you think it was?
Emotion mind.
More likely emotion mind. All right,
Wait,
great.
why?
So because your emotions are having you fire something off pretty quickly in that case, right? It's hot, so we want to get rid of that. Okay, so Mom, can we go to the next slide? Perfect. So that first one, number one, was our wise mind, right? A combination of emotion mind and reasonable mind, and we want to be in the center point that was there, right in the middle. That's what's called wise mind. That's where we want to be. All right. in order to get into wise mind, we talked about, Grace, what were they? They were the,
What skills?
a little bit louder,
The what skills?
and,
The house skills.
skills.
all right, nice work again. So we've got 3 of those each, right? So if we've got what skills and how skills, what, and we'll do how over here. Grace, can you remember? Do you remember there's 3 of them, right? Do you remember any of the what skills?
Yep, I remember all 3.
All right, great. What are they?
Participate, observe, and describe.
Observe, and describe. I love it. All right. Now, Jackson,
Yeah.
can you put some definitions on those?
Participate. One. All in one mindfully. Participate.
All in. Yep. Great.
One mindfully.
Yep. Wait, Jackson's still going.
Observe is wordless.
Wordless watching.
And
Great.
describe is a word full watching, I think.
Not necessarily full watching. We're putting our what we saw, what we observed, into factual statements. Perfect. I'm going to give you an assist on that one. All right. Nice work. So Ashton,
Got another half.
how about the house skills? Do you remember the 3 house skills?
No,
I know.
Okay.
I don't. I forgot.
Grace is going to pick you up here. All right. Throwing a lifeline to Grace. Grace,
At
what?
least I know one of them.
What's one of them?
Effective.
Effective, exactly. And I think actually Jackson said one of them too. So let me put in effectively.
One mindful.
Yes, one mindfully is another one.
And non-judgmental.
Ooh, look at you guys. One mindfully, and then non-judgmentally, right?
That's the biggie.
That is the biggie. And actually, it's so big, we're going to cover more about it today. All right? So there's one little quirk about this. And Mommy can put that back onto me here. Great. And so here's what we want to be able to do, right? What's unique about the what skills? Can we do them
It's
all at the same time or one at a time?
one at a time.
That's right, one at a time. We can only do them one at a time, right? And so when we're observing, we're not describing. When we're describing, we're not participating, all right?
Yeah.
So one at a time. How is that different than the house skills?
Oh,
'Cause you can do
because
both-
you
all
can
3 at the same time.
You can effectively being non-judgmental while participating one mindfully.
That's right. So you can do all those things. So actually,
Those 4
this is what you do. This is how you do it. And when we're participating, we can do it effectively, one mindfully, and non-judgmentally. When we're describing, we can do it effectively, one mindfully, and non-judgmentally. We are actually going to work on that today. All right. And you at home, we're going to work on that with you as well. All right. And so here's what we're going to do. We are going to work on, and Mama, if I can get the next slide there for everybody. We're going to work on what Jackson talked about non-judgmentally.
No,
And
I
that-
said that.
And that's hard. You said that? Sorry, Grace.
No, I'm sorry.
Good. That's okay. The fact that it's up there on the board, we're in good shape, all right? And so let's talk about judgments. All right?
Stupid.
Would be a judgment.
Jerk.
Judgment.
Idiot.
Judgment.
Bad.
Annoying.
Annoying. Sounds like, Ashton, you've had a lot of practice with judgments, huh? All right. Jackson, you have any judgmental words that you tend, maybe
good.
not? Good is a judgment,
Great.
right? But
Bad.
right. So let's talk about this. There are some types of
Ugly.
judgments. No, hold on. I'm sure we could spend the rest of our time coming up with all sorts of judgments, right? So sometimes we want to have actually maybe less vocabulary in some of our judgmental words, right? And so there are some types of judgments. There are 2 types, right? One of the judgments is what we call discriminating or differentiating judgments, okay? And so what we want to be able to do with our differentiating judgments is to differentiate if something is going to be the
Good or bad.
same or different.
Wait.
No, good or bad is going to be an evaluative judgment, right?
Daddy,
Yes?
are judgments always adjectives?
Are judgments always adjectives? I don't think so. They don't have to. Mom says yes. We'll see. So most of the time that they are, though. I'm trying to think of some exceptions. All right? Maybe they are all adjectives. Grace is learning her grammar at this point. Jackson.
Yeah.
So what else might we use discriminating or what we call differentiating judgments for?
LGBTQ.
Well, so in what way?
Calling them names.
So that would be those would be judgments. Those would be evaluative judgments, right?
Oh.
So we're not looking for the evaluating judgments. This one, that's the other kind, right? And so what we want to be able to do,
Daddy,
yes,
what's LGBTQ?
that's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning youth. And so it has to do with sexual orientation. All right, and so
It's like who you have a crush on.
and those types of judgments, Grace, you often hear are evaluative judgments that happen. Okay, and so people then are using words that tend not to be kind. They're not very effective to describe people that way. All right, and so what we want to do is learn on making descriptions that are factual, that don't have some of those evaluative judgments. And so if we go back to our differentiating judgments again, how about a teacher that's grading you on homework? They have to make a judgment. Is this answer right or wrong? Did this person write their paragraph that has some of the grammatical punctuation in it? Right? So there, we want them to be able to do that, right? We also want our judgments to determine if this is risky or not. So you all ski, right?
No, I snowboard.
You snowboard. I was just getting to it. So so here's the thing. When you see a black diamond and you're a green circle skier or boarder,
Don't go on it.
that's a judgment we want you to be able to keep, right? We don't want you to get rid of those judgments because that's a risk, right? And you can look at that slope and go, oh my gosh, there's all these moguls and snow. We don't want to go on that, right? There are times when Grace, you've gone up on
Chair 2.
on chair 2. It's a hard chair, right? Or you've gone up on a diving board and it gets pretty high, right? So we say, oh, can I do this
The things that
at the pool?
jump on
Jump.
at the end and you go back.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so we want those differentiating judgments to stay with us. We want a judge to be able to say this was within the law or against the law. Those judgments we keep. The second type of judgment, though, is the evaluative judgments. Those are the things Ashton and Grace, you were talking about. Stupid, jerk, idiot, annoying,
Ugly.
right? Ugly.
Sally.
Those judgments hold a lot of kind of pain, right? They hold a lot of evaluation and hurt sometimes, right? Even if you say good, though, that doesn't have a hurt. It's still a judgment, right? So even if you say you look pretty, right? That's still an evaluative judgment. So what we're trying to do here is to reduce the amount of evaluative judgments we use. So evaluative judgments are good versus bad, pretty versus ugly,
But
right? And so but's not a judgment, all right?
It's not a word that-
It's the big eraser that that we have, right? So that's not a judgment at this point. And so here's what I want us to be able to do. So go ahead and grab your clipboards. Those of you at home, we're going to ask you to get a pencil and paper, all right? And what I want you to be able to do is we got a scenario here that we're going to show the my class here, right? Our kids, and they're going to take a minute to think about this scenario and how they want to portray it. I want you at home to be able to look at the scenario, to watch the scenario and write down the judgments that you hear that are being said. Just write them down. And then we'll come back after the scenario is over, after they show it to us, and look at what judgments did you observe, right? That's one of our what skills, observing. And then we're going to describe what you saw. So there's two of our what skills already, all right? And then we're going to see how we can make them non-judgmental. So we're going to have judgments. How can we make them non-judgmental, all right?
Okay.
So
Do you want the folks at home to see the scenarios
I
that
do.
we're working on?
Go ahead and you can see them right now. And I'm going to work with Jackson and Ashton. You guys are going to be a pair. You guys are doing the first ones. Go ahead and get together. Grace, you can come over here.
With Mommy?
Yep. And what I want you guys to do is think about added things that you're going to have. So that's just not it. Grace, come on over here.
Wait, should I bring
And
my...
we're
Yep,
going to
bring
go
your clipboard.
silent for a minute, and then we'll come back as soon as we're ready.
And I'm going to get Mom involved. Mom's going to work with Grace in her scenario. So go ahead and take a minute. If you want to refill your cup of coffee on paper, that'd be great. going?
Back on. Yep.
All right.
There you go.
So which group is going to go first?
Me.
Them? All right, let's go. You guys, so come up here. Make sure that you guys are in the camera. See here. So wait a minute. So Ashton and Jackson have the first scenario that you got to see about getting a grade, right, on a test. All right? And so I'm going to step back.
And what
here.
you all are going to practice writing down at home is writing down, describing non-judgmentally what you observed. So that can be what they say and what they do.
Perfect. And I was just getting to that because Grace was starting to write. So Grace and you at home, write down what you see, okay? Non-judgmental. All right? Just what you can observe. That's that wordless watching, what you're observing. And so, all right, you two, Ashley, I want you to stand, especially if you're going to be the parent. All right? And go ahead. So explain the scenario. So Jackson, go ahead and explain it because you're the student.
Basically, right now, the scenario is I just arrived back from school and I took a test today that I studied for 4 hours that I got a B on, and I'm talking to my parents about it.
That's me. I'm the parent.
So go ahead and start.
And action.
Dad, I just got home from school, and you know the test I studied on?
Yeah, the one you spent for 4 hours for.
Yeah. Oh, I got a B.
What happened? What did you do?
Well, I don't really know. I was studying, and the last thing I remember was being in my bed.
Maybe you shouldn't have gone to sleep so early, or watched those videos, or played video games.
Yeah, maybe. Also, the problems were also really hard, and I didn't get much sleep last night. 'Cause I slept for 4
You're
hours.
lazy. You're really lazy.
Yeah, I know I can be lazy sometimes.
Stupid.
Well, maybe not stupid, but maybe dull-minded.
Okay, and stop. Okay, Ashton, good try. I know it's hard for you to be a parent. You two can sit down over here together.
Dull-minded.
All right, those of you, Grace, I'm going to come back to you in just a second. Those of you at home, write down what you saw, what you observed, all right, and write down some of the judgments that I think that you heard, right? Keeping in mind we're looking at things that are differentiating judgments versus the evaluative judgments, okay? And I'm going to come to you, Grace. Ashley, I'm going to have you come and sit over there too, please. Yep, great. I'm going to let those come in. Put them into the chat bar, please. Grace, what did you observe?
You got lots of claps also. Well done.
Well,
Yes!
so what did you observe, Grace?
I observed scaredness.
Scared? Okay, wait a minute. So you observed scaredness? What did you see that was scary? So you have to do that. You're describing that now non-judgmentally. So how did you see scaredness?
I'm a scared parent.
Wait.
Jackson had a really scared voice.
He had a scared voice, so you could tell. So Jackson's voice was shaky. Okay, that's one. Great. That.
Anxiousness.
What was it?
Anxiousness.
Anxiousness. So how did you?
Mostly all came from his voice.
Okay, so how did you see that though?
His voice.
His voice. So, and again, so what you want to say is that, so you're interpreting that, right? So you're interpreting that he was scared, you're interpreting that he was anxious because his voice was shaky. Is that how we'd say that non-judgmentally?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He
What?
was also like coming up to him and like.
Yeah, he had his head down. Right. So did you put that down? Because that's a non-judgmental description of what you saw, right?
No,
His head
but
was
it
down like this, right? And especially when Ashton said lazy, right?
Stupid.
Yep. And so I would want to make sure that we turn those into non-judgmental statements. Okay. So what did we get from home?
We got lazy and stupid were judgments that were seen at home.
Yep.
Yes, they were.
Yes. And do we think that those are going to be effective? Jackson, did that make you feel appreciated in the work that you put in there?
Nope.
Not at all, right? And maybe you were really happy with your B, right? That it was a really hard test. I studied 4 hours. I'm really happy with it. And here, your parent, your dad is saying, "Oh my gosh, you're lazy. You're stupid. You're watching videos," right? It really kind of invalidates what we were doing. So, great. Grace and Mom, you guys are up next. All right?
All right.
And then again, you at home, go ahead and write down what you're observing, all right? And then we'll talk about what you observed by describing, and then we'll try to do that non-judgmentally as well.
All right, and I'll move over here, and I'll sit down
Grace?
so Grace can.
Grace,
Grace over
over.
here. Are you ready?
Remember, say what the scenario is
All
again.
right, so we're going to do the scenario of Grace did not get invited to a sleepover, and she's coming to tell me about it.
Or a birthday party.
Okay, or a birthday party, yeah. How was school today?
It was so bad. My friend just invited her whole class to a sleepover, and she didn't even invite me. I hate this.
Oh no, what a mean girl. Yeah, is that girl that like we're always talking about how she's so mean and we don't like her anyway? And she's really unkind to everybody and kind of a little bit of a bully?
Kind of.
Yeah, so like why aren't you happy that you're not going? It would probably be a really lame party anyway. Like, I don't think you should be so sad about it. It'd be like, better for me, I'll have more fun. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but she's inviting all my other friends.
yeah, well, maybe she's just realizes that, like, you're so cool that if you go, you'll take all the coolness and get all the attention from her. Like, she seems like somebody who's got some problems and pretty mean. And, like, she's probably jealous of you. Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, I mean, who really cares? I think you shouldn't care. Like, you're so much better than her.
And
Wait,
stop.
whoa, Mom. That's true.
So that's what we're talking about.
What?
That's okay.
Was there something wrong with what I said?
That's a lot of
What?
things. You're saying, oh, I'm
Okay,
better
so wait,
than
hold
you.
on, hold
all
on.
right.
Just wait.
At
All
home.
right. At home, put into the chat bar what you observed, right? So you're going to now describe what you're just going to put that in the chat bar. I'm coming to
What
you
did you
guys
observe
now.
at home?
All right, wait. So Mom said lame. Okay, so
Lame,
More claps, Grace. Good job. Well done.
lame, mean, cool, problems, jealous, and then better than you.
better than you. So those are all evaluative judgments, right?
Bad, hate, mean, unkind, bully, lame, cool, problems. So much better than her.
All right. Now, can we see the evaluative judgments that we're making there? All right. And are we throwing the other person kind of under the bus with our evaluative judgments?
Definitely.
Yes.
All right.
Very,
So,
very much.
what could Mom have said differently to make it more non-judgmental?
So let me ask you before you get there. What do you think was happening to my emotions the more Grace and I talked about the
You
situation?
got fired up.
You're right. I was getting more angry and more mad at the other girl for not inviting her.
Have a talk with the mom.
And so that's what happens when we start to have evaluative judgments. And you could see the scenario that Liz and Grace were doing, that it adds fuel. When we use those judgments and we keep talking about it, it adds more fuel to those emotions. And we actually have more intense emotional reactions. And if we keep adding fuel to it, where are we going to be on our emotion thermometer?
Above 65.
Right. And then we need to use what?
Course survival.
That's right. All right, I'm going to go.
Right. We got Mom was
here.
fueling the fire. They observed name calling, building yourself up and tearing somebody else down.
Yep.
And that Mom is not a great role model in this case.
That
Was
Mom is
another
not-
observation.
Correct. Mom's
Which
not
may be a judgment, right?
It is. Mom is not an effective role model if we're trying to reduce evaluative judgments because Mom's making them, right? So how would, Jackson, I'm going to come back to you. How would you take one of your things that you saw and make it non-judgmental? What advice would you give Mom?
For hate, saying
Yep. What would you say?
don't like her.
You
well,
don't like her,
that's
so that's an
still
evaluative judgment. What else could you say?
Problems. Maybe she is struggling.
So you could change it some way that maybe this person struggles with friends. Okay, I think that could be. We don't know, right? It's still going to be a little bit of a judgment. We could say that this is someone that you don't spend a lot of time with. That's a fact, right? Ashton, what can you think of? Think of one of your statements that Mom said.
Lame.
Lame, and how can we turn that into be a non-judgmental statement?
What's the one? Yeah. Not exciting.
Not exciting. Is that just the other side? It's just another way to say lame. So not exciting is still a judgment.
Monotonous.
Still going to be a judgment. Kind of hard, right? Because we've gotten really good at judging.
Annoying.
Again,
Still
a
a
judgment.
judgment.
Right. So how do we do that, right? It's hard.
Make
So
me
what we could
angry.
say without the judgment, we could say that, well, we're going to spend some time
Boring.
gardening or doing something at our house, right? It doesn't say that what they're doing is different. It just says we're going to spend some time here, all right? And
I also got that mom focused on judging the other child
Yeah, I was just gonna
rather than her own child's experience. So I could have focused more on validating Grace and being non-judgmental and supporting Grace rather than fueling my fire and her fire.
right. And that's right where I was going to go, right? You were trying to help Grace feel better by
Making the other person
by
feel
tearing down the other person, right? And so, and the idea there is to maybe validate Grace's feelings of being left out.
That was the better
Mom
than
should
her
have had
part.
a call with the parents. I'm gonna call their parents.
And I love this
What's
comment
going
here.
Hold on.
That at the same time, mom told the child how the child should feel rather than listening to what she was
Yeah,
feeling.
we're back to shoulds again, right? And so
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
shoulda, coulda, woulda, right?
She's
Stop
shooting.
shitting
So
on yourself.
that's right. And so we have a slide that we use in Dad's class called Captain Obvious, with sidekicks coulda, woulda, and shoulda, right? And so same type of thing, right? That we don't want to get into the coulda, wouldas, and shouldas. Those are going to be judgments, all right? Evaluative judgments. All right. So any other comments? We got one more scenario that I want people to take a look at, all right? And I want you to practice this at home. So we're going to do it here. We're going to give you a little bit of time. It's COVID-19, all right? And you being a kid, 10, 12, 8 years old, 14, whatever that is, you want to go hang out with your friends. You ask your parent for their permission. They say no. So take the next 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds, and role play that with your person at home with you, and see what your reaction is. And if you've got a kiddo watching with you, let them be the kid and see what that looks like, all right? And we're going to do the same. We're going to turn off our mics and do it here, and then we'll come back to you.
Why you
Okay?
bully me?
All right, we're going to jump back in now. I hope you guys are ready to practice and do the same observe and describe.
Right. Again, go ahead and take those notes. Do that wordless watching at this point here, right? Just observe.
All right. You guys said you had a question for me?
Can I go play with my friends?
Can I go play with my friends?
Can I go play with my friends?
Seriously, are you guys crazy? Like, I know you want to play with your friends. I know you miss your friends. I totally get that. And I think that would be a really stupid thing to do. Like, if you're out there, we don't know who your friends have been with. They may be out socializing and hanging out with other people. They could be getting sick, and then that would get us sick. And I just think that would be a really dumb thing. I get, like, we can come up with some family activities to do. Those will be super exciting, and we'll have the most fun doing that.
We do this like every night. Can I go play with my friends?
Like,
It's gonna be so boring.
well, I don't think, it might be boring, but at least it'll be smart. Like, we won't be dumb. You know, I'm always saying, don't be dumb. Don't go out and just start acting out in the world.
Why?
Why? Because it's full of germs out there and COVID-19, and we can all get sick from it. And that would just be so stupid, because then we'd be in the house even longer.
Your reasoning's stupid.
Well, here's the thing. Like, do you want to go do what you want most right now and go play with your friends and then be stuck in the house with me longer? Right? Would that be effective? No, I think that would be dumb.
And stop. All right. Our kids are definitely getting into it, right? That's something that's there. All right.
I never got a chance to talk.
Well, you got to jump in there. So, and Ashton's making all these, blah, 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 right? And so, let's talk about this. So, those of you at home, put in the chat bar, how did that go for you guys at home? And what did you see happening with us, especially Ashton, as he's starting to converse with Mom here, as it was kind of escalating? So, how were you feeling as this was going on and on?
Stupid.
Was that emotion getting stronger?
Yes.
Yes. And what emotion was it?
Stupid emotion.
Stupidity.
It's not an emotion. Yeah, anger. And we don't usually make good decisions in anger.
Frustration.
Right? All right. So what did you notice that mom said? Did anybody take kind of notes?
Stupid.
Dumb.
She said dumb, stupid.
Stupid.
Crazy.
Are you crazy? Yeah, are you crazy, right?
Smart.
So what could she have said to make it non-judgmental?
Right? And folks are noticing that you guys were getting more angry and more judgmental as we went on.
So that's the fueling. So if we make those evaluative judgments, that's the added fuel that we keep talking about. That's kind of making a painful situation even worse by more suffering, right?
I was more validating though this time, wasn't I?
No. You just kept saying, "Don't be dumb. Don't be stupid. Are you crazy? Don't be dumb. Stupid. Stupid.
Right. I would
you
not.
don't know who could have.
I would not have seen that as validating.
So I said, I get it. You're bored. You're sad. You're
Yeah,
bummed.
but
you
you're
can't
using
go out.
judgments.
I get it. You're bored.
Oh.
But oh my goodness.
So all my
you're
validation
crazy.
got-
stupid.
Okay,
Stupid.
okay.
So all
Okay.
my validation that I was trying to do got wiped away by my judgments?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ugh.
But you're crazy. Stupid.
Okay.
Stupid.
So that's the point, right? That we want to try to reduce those by using terms and language that doesn't have those judgments. So I think mom could have said something that was more effective by describing the situation. It's a dangerous situation out there, right? She could have gone back to being differentiating judgments rather than saying this is stupid. Are you crazy, right? And so I think, and as your parent, I have to make the best decisions that I can, and I'm saying no at this point. That would be non-judgmental, and we'd be using our differentiating judgments to do that.
I also talked about being effective, right? Short term versus long term. Didn't that help?
But you're crazy. That's not effective. Don't be dumb.
Okay, so it kind of got erased that way.
Right.
So that's what we want to work on. It's an important part of our house skills for mindfulness. With that, let's pull up our summary slide here.
And then somebody said, even though it was only a skit, it seemed to have had a big emotional impact. Right?
Ashton's all fired up right now, so yes.
Right? Because I think we're all struggling with this at the moment of noticing we want to get outside, we want to interact with our friends, and it is really hard, and we could easily get ourselves worked up in that situation. And somebody else had a great showcase for how judgments can blunt out our best intentions.
Yep.
That's so true.
Agreed.
Yep.
So here's what I want to cover. Here's what I hope that we covered today that you take home with you. Mindfulness is the core set of skills that help us with all other skills. And that's why I circled the entire model of emotion. All right. It also is going to help with the distress tolerance. It's going to help with interpersonal effectiveness. Right. In the mindfulness module, we have skills of wise mind, right, which is our 3 states of mind. We want to be a wise mind. Our what skills and our how skills. Remember, what skills we use one at a time. How skills we can use all together, right, at the same time.
We use the how skills to do the what skills.
Correct. The how skill of non-judgmentally helps describe events using facts. That's what we're trying to do, is just describe the facts. We get those facts from wordless watching, right, from our observations.
Wordless watching.
And finally, our evaluative judgments, those things that we say are good and bad, right, or ugly and pretty, stupid and not stupid, right, are the fuel that intensifies our emotions. And we saw that really well in this last example, right?
Yeah.
So these are the judgments we're looking to reduce and decrease. All right? With that, we appreciate you being here. I've got a couple of last announcements here. So again, please join Liz and I when we are, Liz and me, when we are doing our Q&A May 19th. That's next Tuesday at 10 o'clock. All right?
And
It's being sponsored by Forefront in Suicide Prevention and Mental Health Technology Transfer Centers. Please register at www.dbtinschools.com. That's the 19th of May, the 16th of June. And then join us in the mornings. Tomorrow morning, Liz and I will be live on Facebook Live doing our Parenting Through COVID-19.
Make sure to
With
subscribe
And also, just for so that means because of the Q&A next Tuesday, we won't be here on YouTube Live. So join us back next Thursday as we move into
Great point, yeah.
teaching dialectics and some of our interpersonal skills. Back here next Thursday. Thanks for joining us.
Go
Make
skillfully
sure to hit the subscribe button.
and have a good week and weekend.